all my analytics glasses for all those nerds out there.
The Thomas Bryant jockstrap, get him out of here!
How does that not indicate to you, like, hey, sometimes, like, these prospects are awesome?
Ramos, get back! They snatched that chain, boy. Get back! What y'all gonna do about it? Popeye snatched that chain. Get back! We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back!
Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. I'm Ryan Tyler. He's Jack O'Rourke. He's Matt Fontana.
Hey, where's my intro?
From?
Yeah, hey. Killer intro.
No Nick Bonneau, no Rob Watson today. Matt Fontana so gracefully filling in for us today. It is Thursday, January 15th, 2026, gentlemen. We have so much to talk about today. John Harbaugh is headed to the Big Apple. He's taking a deal with the New York Football Giants. Grant Udinski becoming maybe the front runner for the Cleveland Browns head coach job. Is he too young? Is he experienced enough? I don't know. I'll ask you guys the questions. You're the experts. Dante Moore returns to school, forgoes the NFL draft, forgoes being likely a top 5, top 10 pick going back to Oregon. What does that mean for him? What does that mean for Shedeur Sanders in this Browns quarterback room? And then we'll flip it over to the NFL divisional round to do our best bets. Good morning, gentlemen. Jack, how are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, you guys already flipped the airwaves this morning, so I feel like I got to warm up to the offense a little bit, maybe hit a check down or two in the first segment to make sure I can keep up to snuff. So I'm excited to be with you guys, though.
Matt, welcome to your first appearance on the Big Factor.
I think, yeah, probably my first one. This is now the 4th different Big Play show I've done.
Oh, wow.
Outside of my own, I've been on Big Play Cleveland show, and I've done Drennan show.
Well,
so
we welcome you here to the Big Factor.
I feel welcome.
You coming
Thank
on
you.
with
I appreciate
us.
it.
All right, we dive into the news. News reported this morning. I woke up this morning. It was really last night, guys. Schefter put out that he expected John Harbaugh and the New York Giants to finalize a deal. Not sure it's exactly finalized yet, but woke up this morning and saw that news. Whew, guys, this is a big one. Deal expected to be 5 years in length with total value of $100 million. That's one of the largest contracts in the league history. That's according to NFL reporter Jordan Schultz. Matt, going from the Baltimore Ravens to an organization in flux. They haven't been steady since Tom Coughlin, I think it was 2014, departed. We've had Ben McAdoo. We've had Pat Shurmur. We've had Brian Dable.
Joe Judge.
They now look to capitalize on a window in which they have a quarterback in Jackson Dart. They have offensive pieces in Malik Neighbors. Could they pair him with a Jordan Tyson? We'll see a Carnell Tate. We'll see. They have a solid offensive line. They have defensive ends, 2 bookends that are fantastic. Is John Harbaugh going to the Giants make them an instant contender next year, in your opinion?
I mean, the problem is that you're in a division where the Eagles, they could blow up. They're getting older there. You still have the Cowboys. You think the Commanders are going to be a lot better. But I think the biggest thing about him going to the Giants was the control. It sounds like he's going to have some of the control that maybe Joe Shane had or still has or whatever. Harbaugh, when he has this pick of the litter, he was going to go somewhere who's going to pay him a lot. They did that and give him what he wants. Well, he wanted Todd Monken. Okay, he's going to get him. Wants control over the roster. He's got it. I mean, this is almost a dream for the Browns. Yeah, you build it up, you find your quarterback, and then you just bring in the head coach to kind of put you over the top. And you're right, the Giants have been a mark of dysfunction, but they still have good players. So you bring in John Harbaugh to end the dysfunction, basically. I expect them to be a contender. Now, the thing is, Harbaugh doesn't call plays. He's bringing culture. He's bringing smart guys and coaches that he's been with before to bring it in. So, a meteoric rise, I don't know about that fast, but I think this was just, he was going to hold their feet to the fire with these other interviews. He was always going there. There was no way. It was the best job available. He's the best coach available. It makes a lot of sense.
Jack, is Dart and Harbaugh the recipe to bring New York out of their misery?
I don't know if it's the recipe, but it's a hell of a lot better than Joe Judge and Daniel Jones back in the day. So you're moving up the corporate ladder a little bit with that. I mean, I think the biggest thing, dude, is he's 63 years old, right? I know the Raiders have $100 million in cap space and they have the first pick. They're going to get the quarterback they want, Fernando Mendoza. You're not going there. You're 63 years old. You want something you can turn around quick. Their front seven is ridiculous out there. Like you guys both said, they have a litter of offensive weapons already. I think you made the perfect point about Tom Coughlin. You just need a coach who's going to be there and just be the standard bearer in New York. They haven't found that guy in the last 10 years. And you need, in a city like New York where the press is going to come down on you constantly, expectations are bigger, wins and losses matter more. You need a guy like that who can just really just stabilize everything, step in the situation and be okay, we're going to figure it the fuck out.
Matt, you said it best. This is the highest head coach candidate everybody wants, the belle of the ball of this class, if you will. And I thought the Giants were the most attractive job opening this offseason. So it makes sense that they pair together. My question to you is, as John Harbaugh has been the belle of the ball, is that correct? Because John Harbaugh, you can't take the reputation away. He has a Super Bowl victory. He's been one of the longest tenured head coaches at the time in the NFL. Are we correct in assuming that John Harbaugh can just bring all that experience to a big place like New York and put these pieces all together?
I hope so, because it's new. Like, that's the biggest thing. Whatever happened in Baltimore, whatever happened with Tomlin with the Steelers, it just became stale. You can only do the same thing over and over and over again. You can only have the same coaches there. You can only give the same message. And you all strive to do what? What Bill Belichick had. They created this. When you joined the Patriots, you knew what you were joining. You knew how they did things, how they practiced, what they ran, what they were going to do. And Harbaugh will bring that. This is how we're going to do things here. Players will always win out. If you don't have talent, you're not going to go anywhere in the NFL. I don't give a damn how good your coach is. And the thing is, the Giants have talent. Harbaugh, yeah, what's Todd Monken going to do there for Jackson Dart? I don't know. We'll see, right? Like, Monken was getting interviews for head coaching opportunities. It's never that easy just to say, oh, this guy's had success in the past, so he's going to have success here. But it just seems like there's going to be a long enough runway. And also, like, they're going all in on John Harbaugh. They're letting him do everything, it sounds like. I think that is what you need with any team. When you look at teams, yes, you need GMs that build things. Andy Reid makes it go in Kansas City. Detroit, like, Brad Holmes put together a good route. That's Dan Campbell's team. Like, the teams that have the coach that lead the organization are the best teams. And I think that's what the Giants are shooting for here with Harbaugh. Yeah, how much does he have left in the tank? I don't know, guys. Like you said, even if he's there for 10 years, I mean, that's a long run. But I think the biggest thing is going all in and saying he's the guy. There's no question about this. There will be struggles, and we're going to stick by him through that and just have the belief that he's going to get you through this, I think is a powerful message to be had.
Right. I wanted to ask you and Matt real quick, because, I mean, it's not John Harbaugh, but I think that was the name that Kevin Stefanski was, or the job that he was linked the most to up to this point in the coaching search. Where do you guys think he lands now?
Funny you say that, because we just did our coaching carousel, which everybody will be able to view tonight,
including
on
me.
YouTube earlier. Once I can get that bad boy posted up, me and Matt went through every coaching job, and we both agreed that I think the best place for Kevin Stefanski and where he'll likely end up is the Atlanta Falcons. I think in Cleveland, sure, we were a little drawn out by Kevin Stefanski because the success didn't come, but you've heard around NFL circles, they still believe Kevin Stefanski is a great offensive mind. And Matt, we've made the point here, say whatever you want about Kevin Stefanski, you can't say he's a bad football coach, because he brought this program from the very bottom, and while we might still be there as he departs, he had playoff success with the Cleveland Browns roster, something that I hadn't seen in my lifetime. And around the league circles, he's still respected. You go to Atlanta, you have offensive pieces, Bijan, Drake London, who's a phenomenal receiver. If they can retain Kyle Pitts, that's great. A little shaky quarterback position-wise. Not sure what the future is with Michael Penix due to the injuries, but I think he's a very attractive head coach candidate. Matt, you said it too. You thought he was the second behind John Harbaugh in terms of most attractiveness. I think it makes sense, and you also agreed that we think Stefanski will end up landing in Atlanta.
I think he's going to get a job somewhere, 100%. Like, he's a for sure. I don't think if it's not Atlanta, it could be Miami. But I think Arthur Blank missing out on John Harbaugh, he's going to want a big swing, and I just don't think he's going to take no from Stefanski. And, yeah, is it a good job to take? I mean, there's at least something to work with there. There's a semi-identity, and he might not be all in on Michael Penix. You can be all in on Bijan Robinson, though. You can be all in on Drake London. Like, they're good. And I just, when you start to look at the jobs that are left, I think it's just going to match up that Stefanski's going to end up in Atlanta. I think it's just going to work that way.
All right, let's go back to the AFC North like we always do. You can scratch John Harbaugh off the list. Don't think it was realistic for him to come to the Browns anyway. However, we still need to find a coach. I want to ask you guys, Matt, how important is this hire? The fact that Zach Taylor is the only remaining head coach employed in the AFC North. The days of John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin terrorizing us are over. Does that put more pressure on this hire for the Cleveland Browns to get it right?
It shouldn't, because you don't want to make decisions based on anything other than you. Don't make outside forces. Yes, the Browns are in a critical spot, mostly because their defense is electric. You've got guys, Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, that are getting older. You've got issues on offense. The thing about the quick turnaround is what everybody looks at. And the question is, are the Browns a quick turnaround candidate? Can you find just a quarterback and put him on this team and then be good? Maybe. I don't know. But the thing is, you need to build the offensive line back up. You need to get some more pieces in here on the receiving core and all that. And you're just wasting time on defense. You know, by the time you maybe get the offense set, now you're back to fixing the defense because other guys are going to leave or other guys are going to retire. Like, that's the balance of the NFL. And you could have a roster like the Lions that looks like a freaking Pro Bowl roster. You look at all these players, like, man, they got studs everywhere. They're in the same spot the Browns are. They're not in the playoffs. I mean, it can be that the margins are so slim in the NFL. You just want to capture it for your run. And the Browns haven't started their run again yet because they haven't found their quarterback. So the hire has got to be one like Harbaugh. We expect this guy to be here for 5 years, 7 years to turn this around. Is that going to happen? I don't know. But when you interview each one of these guys, you got to ask yourself, where do you see them taking this team in 3 years? That's got to be the biggest thing. And that's any of these candidates, that's what I would ask. Like, what do you see this team being in 3 years? What do you need to get it there? And is that realistic? Yeah, we'll get to Udinski. You know how I feel about him, Ryan. Like, Jack, I'm not. That's not it for me. I don't want Udinski. I don't think he's got enough experience to do. I want Shieldhouse. I don't want pitcher. I want somebody that's kind of done this before, at least been in high situations to do it. And I get it because the Browns are going to want one. They want Ben Johnson. They want their next Liam Cohen. They want their next Sean McVay. And I guess, again, if you find that guy and you go through your growing pains, you come out the other side, you'll be all right. Most of those guys went to built teams. The Browns are not a built team right now. So I don't think they're afforded to take a guy like that.
No.
If you were better off, you'd be afforded to go ahead and take a guy that was more of a swing or more of a outside the box candidate. I'm sorry, the situation the Browns, you're not afforded that right now.
No, I think absolutely. Like, it's a lot like in Wedding Crashers when Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson look at each other and go like, hey, we're not getting any younger. Like, that's Miles and Denzel right now. Like, they're about to start to hit like the 30s of their career. Like, you're getting older. This is a total legacy hire, not just for AB, but for Jimmy, because like if you mess this up right now and you tear this team even further down and the defense is getting older and you head into this new palace you're talking about in a couple of years and this organization is just in total disarray, you don't have a quarterback, you're hiring the new coach in 2 to 3 years again, the defense is old, like you're going to have a palace with no citizens in it. Like, you know, I mean, like you're going to build the Roman Coliseum and it's going to be empty. And that's the last thing Jimmy Haslam wants. Like, you have to go out and nail this. And like, I don't know if you can put your eggs in the basket of a 30-year-old coordinator. Like, it's just a tough thing to do because like, while it is so sexy and while it would be the cover of Sports Illustrated and the guy who lived in his van and now he's the Brown, he finally turns the Browns around and all this, like, would it be great? Yeah, but if you miss and the whole entire world can go, yeah, you just tried to hire a 30-year-old who's never done it before, you look like an idiot.
So Matt, you've obviously watched more Browns football than me and Jack combined.
Oh, in my life, yes. Thanks for making me feel old. I appreciate it.
So where does that line meet when the Browns zag while everybody zigs? Because you could go the internal hire Jim Schwartz, a guy with respect in the locker room, a guy that has built a defense, the guy that has been the Browns' best hire in years, clearly. Where do they go with zigging and zagging? Because then you could make the argument, well, with an Udinski hire, the defense isn't getting any younger. It was a Super Bowl caliber defense. It probably would have been the entire season had the offense been able to give them some sort of rest on the bench and not having to be out after every 3 and out. Where do they toe that thin line of getting a guy like Schwartz who can come in and instantly command the respect, and you don't have to worry maybe about the nuances of a new guy, but then again, a guy like Grant Udinski who can come in with new offensive philosophies, new ideas, and revamp this team and give the offense at least sort of matching the production from the defense?
I mean, the thing is, they've had to do that in the past because they're not very good. Teams that have to try to pull a rabbit out of the hat is because they don't have things set up the right way. And it's not like, you know, the Patriots transitioned from Belichick. You know, I'm not saying they fell ass backwards and like, oh, just great. You got rid of Gerard Mayo and here comes Mike Vrabel and you drafted Drake May. Like, ho hum, great, good luck. You know, the Colts. You go from Peyton Manning, a bad year, you find Andrew Luck. Like, there is luck to some of this, and you just got to be in the right position to take advantage of it. The Browns have never been in that, and they've made bad hires. Like, they just made hires like that just didn't work because they weren't a desirable place. They were a source of dysfunction. The one thing about Barry and Stefanski, at least at this point, I think they flushed out some of the dysfunction. Like, here's one of the best things I can say about the Browns. They're just bad at football. It's not anything else anymore. It's not infighting and situations with players. It's just you are just void of some talented guys on offense. That's it. It seems so trivial to say that. But at least we're finally there, and you don't got to deal with all the other bull crap you've been dealing with for 20 years. So here we are.
That's what I'm a little bit worried about, though, Matt, is like I'm worried about a world where you do hire like the young guy, and they like because if you hire Harbaugh like the Giants did, right? Like you're giving him the keys and the car right away. Like you can go do whatever the heck you want. You're totally in charge. I'm so worried that Jimmy Haslam's going to keep putting his hands in the aquarium if we just go out and take like a 30-year-old coordinator. Like, I mean, I know he said he's going to get out of it. And like, I mean, Matt, you made a great point on the show. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago that you think a good bit of why AB might be back is that Jimmy didn't want to go about this coaching search alone. But like, I'm worried that the power is going to switch right back to Jimmy if they hire the wrong guy.
See, like, I think he I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully, I think they've learned over their time is that listen, they own the team. They're always going to be involved. People that complain about ownership, you're wasting your time because they're not going to fire themselves. They are going to own this team. Their kids are going to own this team. They're not going anywhere. NFL is an amazing business to be in right now. They're never getting rid of this team. So just let's set all that aside. They still own the team. They have the right to be there and be in these conversations. What I think they've learned is to let the people that they hire and put in those positions to do their jobs. And I think when they first took over, they needed to learn that themselves. And I really do think they have learned that. And it doesn't mean that they don't get the itchy trigger finger and insert themselves like, nope, we're going to hire this guy. I actually really do believe that this is Andrew Berry's call. I believe that this is him running it. People don't like that. I don't like Andrew Berry. Sorry about it. Nothing you can do. But at least they're letting him run this and figure it out. And I do think the Haslams, over their time of owning this team, they've had to have learned some things too. They've had to pick up some things, even maybe that Andrew Berry hasn't. So, like, that's when you hear the collaboration that everybody complained about here. Like, oh, they're so collaborative. What did that get you? Nothing. But the Haslams have been through this before. They've been through coaching hires. They've seen the good and the bad. They've talked to other owners. They like, for anybody that just wants to just dismiss them completely, first off, you can't. And second off, have some faith that they are bringing some good things to this search and this hire. At the end of the day, guys, we know this. They could hire the perfect one. Grant Udinski could be the perfect hire. Ain't going anywhere if you find a quarterback. It doesn't matter in a way who you hire unless you fix the offense, and I hope they do.
Matt, sorry, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag on this one, but you'll catch all the coaching reveals on the Matt Fontana Show tonight. Your prediction for the Browns was in Jim Schwartz's internal hire.
Yeah.
Are you all worried that once Jim Schwartz, if that does happen, the defense slips a little bit? And addition to that, is this one of those things where we worry if the Browns are bad? Like a lot of people probably expect them to be next year.
Yeah.
Is that a stain on Schwartz? And is there a world where you could just fire him and bring him back to DC? Would he even want to do that?
No, I don't think there's no. And then that's a great point to bring up of the risk of, like, if he's the head coach, he's not ever going to go back to being the DC. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I just think it's more about, is he going to keep a DC job when you bring in another head coach? Like, he feels like he's prepared. I think he wants the job. So if you're going to have half of the team on his side and at the end of the press conferences giving votes of confidence for him, you got half the team already bought in. That's half the battle, like, to get your team to buy into a guy. So if they buy into Jim Schwartz, sure. You know, your point about would the defense struggle or would the defense kind of take steps back? I don't really think so. I mean, he's got it on lock. He's got players that basically all your starters are coming back, so they've played in this system. I'm not saying it's easy. It's just like, roll the football out. We know what we did last year, but I think he could handle that. That then turns to an important job of the offensive coordinator, because as much of what Kevin Stefanski was doing, he just let Jim handle the defense. This would now be, you need to hire somebody and go, you're handling the offense. That's why I think it'd be a great job for like a Nate Scheelhaus or Udinski or somebody that's really smart. It'd be a step up for them. They're non-play calling coordinators, or Scheelhaus is like the pass game coordinator or whatever it is. Like, come here, the offense is yours. And if it turns out well, you're back in line for a head coaching job next year. Like, I know Udinski, play this out, right? Say Udinski doesn't take any job, and he's just another offensive coordinator, non-play caller down there in Jacksonville. Sure, he'll be right back in the coaching carousel again next year for jobs that open. But imagine he takes a play calling job and it goes well. He's then number one on everybody's list. And the Browns, you'd be like, well, then you lose him, right? You'd be a Ben Johnson. I'll take a year of success. I'll take a couple of years of good football and then risk losing a guy. Like, I have had nothing to grab onto. So I wouldn't worry too much about Schwartz. Plus, he's been a head coach before. He's been around so many. Like, I think he'd be fine. He'd figure it out.
Well, 3 head coach openings in the AFC North, as we know. Just insane. Zach Taylor.
Not Zach Taylor, though. Not Zach Taylor, baby.
Remains the only one employed there in Cincinnati.
Teflon Don.
Matt, I asked Jack, Nick, and Rob this the other day. I want to ask you this. When you think of Mike Tomlin, his days there in Pittsburgh that's now over, what do you think of? Can you put it into a phrase, words, the Mike Tomlin era in Pittsburgh, and how crazy it is that it's finally over?
I mean, it's hard because he was just always the honestly, the thing I'll probably remember more than anything is how bad people wanted him gone at the end. And we'll see where the Steelers go from here, whoever they hire, and if they're back to having success. But, guys, it was just crazy to hear a fire Tomlin chants at the end of games, like how people had just turned on him so fast. And, yeah, he had a lot of good success early, not so much later as it kind of waned down. But think about, like, we give Kevin Stefanski a lot of credit for a lot of the quarterbacks and a lot of the things. Like, I know Kevin Colbert's not there anymore, but look at that list of crap quarterbacks that they'd been at the end of his career into Pickett and Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. Like, you didn't give Tomlin anything, and he still just kept winning games over and over again. That's probably my most impressive thing. Like, he had some really bad offenses, and they still somehow always had a winning record.
Is there something, in your opinion, and we've talked about this before, of living in that 500 purgatory, 501 purgatory, we'll say, for Mike Tomlin, never losing record? Is it almost better, and this is where we can have this discussion, the attractiveness of the Cleveland Browns head coach job versus a rival, the Steelers head coach job? Ownership, stability, 100% you side with the Steelers. There's no bones about that. Browns have 2 first-round draft picks this year. I know the Steelers have a lot of ammo, but they're still looking for a quarterback as well. Matt, in your opinion, Jack, you too, who's got the more attractive job opening?
I got to say the Browns.
I would say probably the Browns by not much, but
they're old, though, too. Like, the Steelers have an old team, and they traded some assets to get that old team, too.
Yeah, I mean, like, DK for Pickens doesn't look... I know they didn't trade him 1-for-1, but basically that trade out, like, that didn't really seem to work out.
Ramsey's old.
Jonnu Smith trade sucked.
Well, and, like, what are the Steelers? Okay, their defense, which is really good, just like the Browns, they have better weapons on offense. Like, Jalen Warren is good. DK Metcalf is good.
Kenneth Gainwell's good.
Kenneth Gainwell's good, but... Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, all right, I'll throw you a name. Like, if you're Kirk Cousins, which offense would you rather play in, the Browns or the Steelers? Probably the Steelers. Probably. So, therefore, the Steelers should be a better job. But I'm kind of with you, Jack. Like, for some reason, the Browns feel like a better job?
Yeah, I mean, it almost, like, has to... I mean, I don't know. I kind of think of, like... They're like the things you need to win. Like, you need your edge rusher, you need a left tackle, you need a quarterback. I kind of think neither of you have a left tackle or a quarterback. We have Miles.
They got a better
and TJ.
offensive line than us.
Yeah, they do have a better offensive line, but like both teams have good draft ammo. Like, I mean, basically anything you read is going to say the Steelers, if they need to, they'll trade up to get a quarterback if they see, like, if they see a quarterback who's fit. Also, I mean, that might be the issue with the first round, as we'll get to in a little bit. But man,
they're taking Ty Simpson. I know they're going to do it. I don't think Ty Simpson's going to be very good, but like he's screaming that he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. Watch that.
No, they're going to kill him out there. Like, I mean, like all he had to do was throw to Ryan. Like, Ryan Williams wanted to transfer out. Like, there are Snapchats out in public of Ryan Williams saying, "I don't want to be with Ty Simpson." Like, that's his wide receiver 1. He wasn't even on the graphic at the end of the year. Like, it's crazy. I don't get the Ty Simpson hype. Ryan, you know I got my guy from North Dakota State, round 2.
Yeah,
Cole Payton.
Whoever, I've never even heard of that kid. Hey, expectations.
Climbing boards, baby.
Expectation certainly plays a part too. You go to Pittsburgh. Listen, they have a history of long leashes, but is that because their ownership is that patient, or because they've managed to find the right guy every time? If they come in and they have another, or they, God forbid, a below 500 season, they're maybe clamoring for Tomlin back. I don't know. If you go 500 with this Browns roster next year, first head coach, I think we're all singing praises, excited for 2027.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just happy the Steelers didn't get Freeman. That would have been like the final death blow of my life. Like that, because if they were good with him, man, I don't know what I would have done.
Well, both teams, Browns and Steelers, are looking for a quarterback. We got news yesterday. We shift back to college. Oregon quarterback Dante Moore announces he is going back to school, foregoing the NFL draft, a projected top pick, leaving a lot of money on the table for those high guaranteed money picks in the first round of the NFL draft. Interesting decision here by Oregon. Guys, is this only because Dante Moore simply doesn't want to play for the Jets?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the answer. And I think when a guy like him... In the long run, this is going to be good for the NFL, because then you're getting better and more polished and more developed guys as soon as they get to the NFL, where without NIL, as soon as you got to the NFL, you wanted to start the clock on your contract so you can get another one. But when you're a quarterback, they want you to play. And if the development really isn't quite happening, I think this is good. I think this is better for the NFL in the long run. The quarterbacks will drive this league forever. And the more opportunity you have to get better ones, that's good. Like, think about how crazy it is. They can't find 32 guys in this entire world every year. Can't find 32 guys to do that job at a high level. And I know it's offensive line and receivers and everything else that goes into it. What's there, 12 elite quarterbacks in the NFL? 12? on a given year, and usually it's the same guys over and over again. It's a hard position to find. So like Dante Moore sits there and he goes, the Jets are a dumpster fire. They're going to start me. They're going to rush me in there, and then they're just going to discard me when they're done with me. I'll go back. I'll get a bag. I mean, what was freaking Ty Simpson was getting $6.5 million offered from Ole Miss or Florida because they said, like, oh, we'll match. Dante Moore's probably going to get the same, right? So you make that money, which is more money than you make in 1 year as a rookie quarterback. And then you still get that deal and you still consider yourself to be one of those top picks next year. I get it. I am a little shocked that he did go back because he was going to be the second overall pick. I don't know. I guess maybe Jack, if he was just a little more developed or he felt better about his game. I don't know.
I have like 10,000 thoughts on this, and none of them make sense. So please bear with me and go ahead and mute my mic whenever you feel best fit for it. I mean, like, you look at it on one lens, right? Like, I'm sure we could have Sam Darnold or Zach Wilson call in today and be like, yeah, you know what? He's probably making a good choice right now because I was drafted in the top 5 by the Jets.
I know exactly where you're going.
Well, I'm saying, like, for them, it didn't work out, you know? But, like, on the other lens, like, I think Carson Beck or Drew Aller could call in today and be like, yeah, like, you know what? I was supposed to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. No matter how much insurance policy I bought on my career, yeah, I'd probably wish I was there right now. So I think it's such an in-between because also, like, you had a weak quarterback class. I mean, like, I'd be dumb to say I know what the quarterback class is going to be at this time next year because we're wrong every single year. You never know who's going to be good. There's a full year of football, but, like, if I'm Dante Moore and I can know that I could have a dog shit playoff game, still go top 2 in the NFL draft, or go back and then subject myself to another year of, like, maybe I get injured, maybe CJ Carr comes out of nowhere, maybe Julian Sayin comes out of nowhere, maybe Arch Manning comes out of nowhere, maybe DJ Lagway comes out of nowhere, like whoever, like, it's a deeper quarterback class next year. You could move further back in that list if the wrong thing happens. Like, it's so crazy. And no one cares in Cleveland. What's going to happen to Dylan Raiola? He committed to Oregon on Monday. Like, I mean, he's a kid who is good enough to start. He was the number 2 quarterback in the portal. Like, is he going to jump back in the portal now? Like, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I think there's a million weird scenarios happening out of this.
I just think of Drew Aller and the college landscape right now.
Drew Aller was going to go in the first round last year.
The college landscape right now with the portal is just so beyond bizarre that Indiana, right there, that's your perfect example. Nobody can predict what the landscape will look like even a year removed. I understand his decision. I probably would say I disagree with it.
I would go. You have to go.
So then this leads to my question, Matt. I'll start with you. Your philosophy on, is it truly teams that can ruin a career? Or do you believe if you're that good, if you're truly that good, bet on yourself to go turn around a franchise? A la Caleb Williams, who, granted, got probably a little bit lucky with Ben Johnson,
right?
But went to a franchise in the Bears who never had a 4,000-yard passer in their whole history until this year.
I'm gonna change what you said there just for a second. It's not teams, it's coaches. Coaches will kill your career. Coaches will kill a quarterback quicker than you can ever imagine. Like, yes, again, you need receivers, you need offensive line. Like, guys, just I can't, and I don't know if the average person kind of understands this. Like, there are 1,000 ways to play this game. There's 1,000 ways to play the game of football. And every coach has their idea on how they want it played. And even down to the simplest, like, peewee level, right? When you look at players and you just try to force them to do something that they're not good at, or just in a little tiny area that you say, when you talk about fit, right? When you try to jam that round peg in the square hole and it's not working, that's exactly what kills a quarterback. When a quarterback comes out of college, they obviously have some skill or some things. It takes them time to figure it out. Josh Allen took some time to figure it out, but the Bills said, we're going to lean into what you're good at. You're going to, and again, it's another conversation to maybe be had here. Sitting your quarterbacks. I will scream from the mountaintops. The best thing you can do with a rookie quarterback is let them sit until they're ready to play, to give them confidence when they step in there that they know what they're doing. But, like, it's coaches. It is, and that's why do quarterbacks want to flock to Kyle Shanahan to save their career? Because he's a genius. Why did Baker Mayfield look at Sean McVay and say, thank God? Because he's a genius. Like, the bad teams pick at the top of the draft for a reason. And that's why a lot of them are perpetually stuck there, is because they don't develop their players and they don't develop specifically the quarterback, and they're just there over and over and over again. And the other side of it is you have quarterbacks that, like, Tua was going to win the MVP one year. Kyler Murray had the freaking Cardinals out to what, a 12-1 record that one year?
That's nuts.
Where are you at now? The development stopped. Or they kept getting hurt. I mean, that happens too. Like, I think it's such an interesting case study about Justin Herbert right now. What are you going to do with him? Your offensive line, I know he can't throw the ball, but you got all the receivers. They got Amari and Hampton. Like, it's the development from the coaches that is the most important thing. And the Browns might look at this head coaching hire and say that we might not have the quarterback in the building right now, and we might not be getting him this offseason, but we're getting him next offseason. Come one way or another, we're finding a quarterback to develop next offseason. Maybe they are looking for their head coach to be that development guy now.
It is an interesting case study, Matt, because to your point, it seems like every single year, and this is before these athletes even touch the NFL field, it's quarterback classes getting hyped up to all hell and just come crashing down. It started with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. People said Cam Ward was the only one with a first-round grade. Well, now we know the only really, truly first-round lock right now, because of Dante Moore going back to school, is one Fernando Mendoza. So relating this back to the Cleveland Browns, we sit here at pick 6 and pick 24, I believe, if I'm not mistaken there. Well, that all but surely asserts we're not trading up to get a quarterback because Mendoza's locked in at number 1. Correct. So what does it mean for Shedeur Sanders? Just how the impact of Moore going back to school, the impact of Shedeur Sanders being our starting quarterback next year?
I don't think it changes anything because you weren't getting either one of them. And the only route you have now is to go get Mac Jones. If you really want to change things, if you really need to, here's what they're going to do. They're bringing Deshaun Watson back. I'm on record as saying I don't think he's ever going to play for the Cleveland Browns again. I don't think that's true anymore. Like, I just don't. And whether he starts the season, which I doubt, I think they're going to start Shedeur, and that's going to be a tough sell to that locker room. You let him go out there. Have you improved? You haven't? Okay, then they're going to go to Dylan Gabriel and see, did you get any better over the offseason? Did you grow 4 inches by chance? I don't know. And then figure that out, and then maybe turn it to Deshaun Watson. I mean, the thing is, you would be better off just calling a spade and just going, we are going to suck again next year. And then we'll go get the quarterback. And then we'll really try to fix things. And you bring a coach in to say you can't. People will never not do this, but you got to look at him and go, just don't. Let's say it's Udinski. 2026, don't hold that against him. You can't do that. You can't go to that locker room. You can't go to Myles Garrett and go, I don't hold this against this guy because this year's going to suck too. They ain't going to stand for that. The fans are not going to stand for that.
Myles will request a trade when he hears that news.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, there would still be people that would trade for him too. But, like, that's the hard thing is you got to look at this season and just basically go, it's another wash year. And it's funny because I'm tweeting during the show, which is very unprofessional of me to do.
It's
like,
a big factor. This isn't professional.
It's okay. We try. So, like, Ben Axelrod, and shout out to Anthony Reinhardt, who does a lot of analytics work, and Ben was talking about how much better the Giants' job is versus the Browns. And Ben's bringing up good points, like, how did they get there, right? Like, how in the world did the Giants, who are just so, been perpetually bad, like, how did they get that much better than the Browns, where they're the slam dunk best job in this cycle?
Jackson Dart.
Well, no. Well, yes, Jackson, but why aren't the Browns even near that consideration? Deshaun Watson. You don't like that answer. People are sick of getting it brought up, and they're sick of talking about it. The fact remains that you are still sunk in this hellhole because of the draft picks you gave up. The cap is a facade. You can massage. Oh, that's bad. You can work them. You can work. That was bad. I didn't mean to do that. You can work the cap in ways that you want. Jimmy keeps cutting checks. The cap can be worked. The draft cannot be worked. When you do not have top picks and first-round picks, that's how you end up where the Browns are at today. That's it. There's nothing you can do about it.
So let me ask you guys that, because I'm in the same boat, Matt, where I'm ready to just, like, I'll throw the cooker in the turkey right now and say we're probably not going to win the Super Bowl next year.
Probably.
Does that, like, whether you go tackle or receiver first, like, I don't know where your guys' heads are at. Obviously, it depends on who's on the board when you're picking as well. I'm, like, really open to trading back again this year. If the guy is not, like, if you're
load up for 27, I'm 100%
I'm fine with just
load
trading
up.
back again and just, like,
nobody's coming up though, guys. I mean, this is a defensive heavy draft. It's an offensive tackle and defensive draft. That's not. There's going to be. I think there's only going to be 3 receivers taken in the first round, maybe 2 in the top 10. But, like, there's a lot of defense and a lot of linemen, and for a lot of GMs, like, that's the good stuff. Sure, you need those, and that's where The Browns need to make first round pick, and they will. But I'm with you, Jack. Like, if anybody really wants to come up for Carnell Tate, I'd love to have him. But like, you can trade back and still get Spencer Fano later. I always screw up Moaga's last name, whatever, is a guy from Miami. Get him. Dude, I've seen mocks with him in the 20s. That ain't happening. But like, yeah,
Maui Gogo's like there's some where he like it's like all tackles because like Fano too, like you'll see reports where it's like, oh, like he's number 3 on this board, then it's like he's going 28 in this other mock draft. It seems like they don't even.
Well, it's like best player available versus what teams need and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's going to be it comes back to what? There's not 10 quarterbacks worth taking. There's not 3 quarterbacks, 5 quarterbacks that are going to go in this first round. So everything else gets pushed up.
Matt, I want to ask you this, going back to the point about the Browns still suffering from Deshaun Watson because of the lost draft capital, and you can't understate that. The amount of, and obviously they're normally first-round picks, but I feel like in just the last 5 years, and it doesn't include quarterback. We all know that's a process. The amount of skill position players that have come in as rookies and just taken the league by storm, and especially in their second, third year as well, is that normal? Has that been a thing since, let's say, you go back to the year 2000? Because I think of guys like Malik Neighbors, who came in and was instantly a top 10 receiver.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, who came in and just changed the game, was setting rookie records, all of that stuff. Other positions as well, like Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, they just come in and take the league by storm. And it goes back to the Deshaun Watson thing. You didn't have an opportunity to get any of these players. Has that always been a thing, or is this just a more recent thing? Players are just, and obviously players get more athletically evolved. We all know, they're playing milkmen back then. Sure, there's some truth to that. Obviously, it's probably not the whole story, but your thoughts on that?
Well, no, I think Barry hit it perfectly. Was it last year, 2 years ago, when he was asked that exact question? And what he brought up was these kids are running in high school running NFL level. Like, go look at Chris Henry. And I know that it gets into another conversation about youth sports and All-America and travel baseball and AAU and all that other kind of stuff. But like, the fact is that these kids are getting identified even earlier, and then there's 1,000 freaking camps for them to go to. There's all this stuff for them to hone their skills where they're entering college as premier receivers and running backs. Because, like, let's be honest, too, those are the fun positions. Everybody wants to play those positions. Everybody wants to be a running back or a receiver, right? Nobody wants to get moved offensive line. Nobody wants to be a defensive player. But that level just keeps getting bumped up. And then they go to college, where college is still very different than the pros, but it is all passing. It is. So these guys, specifically receivers, are entering the NFL just so extremely polished that's why they're able to take over right away. And yeah, I think there is that element. They're bigger, faster, and stronger than we've ever seen. Now, so are the defensive backs, and so is every other position. But like, on an offshoot on that is Fernando Mendoza. That's why a lot of these NFL scouts guys, they said Mendoza, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Dane Brugler. He said Fernando Mendoza is the easiest quarterback he's ever seen to scout because they run a pro-style offense in Indiana. And every throw that you would make on a Sunday, he's good. He's lock and key, man. He's everything. And I think actually going to Vegas is good for him. Like, I'm not saying New York would be different. Like, I know Las Vegas is like, Vegas, but it's a little different, But that's, the evaluations of Mahomes. It wasn't easy. Texas Tech, the air raid, that's hard to look at and see, does it actually translate? But again, development, take your coach. What do you do? What do you do well? What can we emphasize here? It all kind of works out. But yeah, I think everybody's just bumped up now because, again, watch. I don't know if you guys saw any clips of Chris Henry at the Under Armour All-American game. That guy looks like he can play on Sunday already. Like, he's that big, he's that fast.
No one was questioning about Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah Smith could have done it last year, right? Like, that's just the development that these guys are getting even at a younger age, and it's going to help. Yeah, it'd be nice if the Browns took him.
Do you remember when Jeremiah Smith dropped that pass against it was like Akron or like Western Michigan in the first game of the year? Everyone's like, "Oh, this kid's gonna stink," and then he's just like 2 days later, he's the greatest receiver of all time.
He's probably one of the best.
Yeah, he's incredible.
But then that comes back to colleges too, and that's where you see guys jumping in the portal and moving around so much because again, the development, like Cam Ward, right? What that famous story they put the documentary out. No stars, has to go Incarnate Word. Then he goes to Washington State, and then he finds a way to Miami. Like, there was just continued development there with some good coaches, and you got to have the physical skill set certainly, but. How many 5-star guys just burn out and aren't good in college? Like, it happens all the time.
We're going to be sitting here in a couple years, and the Raiders are going to be turned around, and we're still going to be in this hell, aren't we?
Probably.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the path out for the Browns. You just have to take a quarterback in 2027.
CJ Carr.
Start the car. I'm here. I've been telling you for 2 years. I mean,
well, I saw that everybody's like all hyped about that list, just like they were hyped for the list in 2026 that did not come to fruition at all.
Man.
But I saw when they're like Arch, Lagway, Lenore Sellers, Dante Moore, Julian Sayin, like just this giant list of quarterbacks, and I'm like, well, one of them's got to be good. And the other thing that will eventually help the Cleveland Browns, follow me on this. You pray that Fernando Mendoza is a beast. Because then the Raiders aren't going to need a quarterback. You're going to be in competition with who in 2 years? It's a
Jets.
great conversation.
Steelers,
the Rams, or I need somebody for Stafford. The Jets, Steelers, Rams.
I think there's a word of the Falcons. I was going to say, I think Penix is a
maybe
lock
Miami,
anywhere.
Detroit. If it gets stale with golf.
If it gets bad with Goff, like you want all these other positions. Baltimore. I don't know. But, like, you want all these other positions cinched up because then you're sitting in the first round and you only got 2 other teams you got to compete with to take one of 5 quarterbacks you think. You know, we all want the dream of what the 2023 draft was, right? Was it 23 or 24?
23, I think.
You know, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. Like, there were 4 guys. Or even go back to Baker, Josh Allen, Lamar. You just, I don't want to say you picked the wrong guy because it worked out. It did, but I can't tell you how important it is to line these up, that you're in position when there's quarterbacks were taken. And that's just what has continued to bite the Browns in the ass. And it all comes back to what? Deshaun Watson. That's the last time I'll bring it up. I apologize.
All right, last thing, guys. Call your shot. Is Dante Moore the first quarterback off the board in 2027?
No.
Wow. Arch.
No. Arch.
All right.
Arch is still pretty damn good, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Arch.
All right, time to get to our big play FanDuel parlay of the day. But first, I got to tell everybody about FanDuel. You know how fast NFL game days move. One big play and everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel is a game changer. With FanDuel, you can bet in real time while the game unfolds. Score just flipped. Go ahead and jump on a new spread or live money line. That wide receiver's heating up. Then go ahead, bet the next touchdown score or total yards. Think that drive stalls in the red zone like the Browns. Go ahead and take a live field goal prop or fade the total. We got to get to the red zone in order for it to stall. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets. It's all there on FanDuel. It's fast, it's fun. And with FanDuel, your live bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading the hype, FanDuel puts you right in the middle of every moment. Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the app and bet the NFL live all season long. Must be 21 plus and present in Ohio. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Jack, we've done this many a times before. Our first one with Matt, our FanDuel parlay of the day. You know what to do, my friend. Take it away.
Let's do it. Bartender, give me something nice. That's what they always say on SportsCenter, right? Okay, guys, Sabres got the dub last night at home. They're on a back-to-back. They beat the Flyers last night. They're going to do it again tonight at home. One of the hottest teams in the sport right now. Sabres taking down the Habs. It's -106. And then, hey, Matt, your boys, the Blue Jackets, 1-0 in the Rick bonus era. Looking to make that 2-0. Playing the lowly Vancouver Canucks.
God, do they suck.
Yeah, no, yeah. So you gotta hope. You gotta hope someone's gonna pull for us on this one.
So.
Yeah, back. So 2 in a row for both those teams. And then, guys, last night, if you followed the parlay yesterday, the Golden Knights got the dub for us over the Kings in OT. Big one tonight. Mitchell Marner's first matchup against the Maple Leafs since signing with, or I guess getting traded to Vegas in free agency last year. We're going Sabres money line, Jackets money line, Knights money line. All 3 of these teams, Ryan, going to keep those winning streaks going.
You heard it here first. Hey, before we get out of here, guys, Blue Jackets, how are we looking? Is there a future?
I mean, they just need to get rid of Dean Evison. Like, he lost that team. They didn't want to play for him anymore. They were sloppy. They were lazy. Their defense was ass. They were just playing bad hockey. So you bring in Bones, Rick Bones, they call him Bones. They bring him in. Instantly, you saw a better product, the other night. And I just think that there's going to be some subtle changes in how they play. Guys, their roster is not this bad. Like, their roster does not equal their record. When you have that situation, it's got to be coaching. So I hope this changes. They have talent. They have talent everywhere.
Yeah.
Goaltending is still, I want to believe in Jet Greaves. A little small. I hope that's it. They drafted a goalie in the first round. It takes time in hockey, but this team's so good, man. I just want them to be back to being competitive and pushing for the playoffs. So I think it was the right move. Anybody was going to be better than Dean Evison at this point.
No, I think that's a great point. Like, if you look at Dean Evison's time in Minnesota, when did Kirill Kaprizov and Matthew Boldy start to take off? The millisecond Dean Evison got out of town. You look at a guy like Bonus, he was awesome with Dallas, getting those young guys Robo and Wyatt Johnson like up into speed a couple of years ago. Like it's a great like. At a minimum, I mean, it's hard to compare sports. Like, you're getting a JB Bickerstaff is going to put you in the right spot.
Not the JB.
You're going to no, I like JB. I mean, he got him to the playoffs every year. Like, I think you're getting a coach who's going to get you back in the right direction with Johnson, Fantilli, all these young kids.
Well, I have no idea what any of you just said, but if you're feeling frisky, hop on a FanDuel. Columbus Blue Jackets to win the Stanley Cup. Only plus 22,500 odds there.
I don't know. That's not that great. Well, you know what? FanDuel's been taking a lot of money from me anyway, so we'll see how it goes.
So go make a crazy bet. Hey,
I hit a nice Jackets parlay the other day. I did.
Well,
So
hopefully
we're
we
on
can
it
hit
tonight.
2 here on The Big Factor. Appreciate everybody tuning into the show. Shout out FanDuel. Shout out our great friends at Garage Beer. We'll be back tomorrow. Same-ish people, same time. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. See you tomorrow.